Hello and welcome. We're tracking a world in constant motion, and the last 24 hours have brought some really major developments that signal a fundamental shift in how global power works. Let's get right into it. Now, this quote really gets to the heart of what's happening right now. We're moving into a world of what's called transactional realism. Basically, it means nations are prioritizing their own immediate interests, making deals based on what helps them now, rather than on old alliances or ideologies. And this isn't just some academic theory. We're seeing this new, more direct approach playing out in real time, with incredibly high-stakes diplomacy and military tensions happening all at once, all around the globe.
Right now, there's a huge diplomatic push to try and cool things down. This week, the US is involved in two absolutely critical sets of talks. One with Iran in Istanbul, trying to head off a wider war, and another in Abu Dhabi with Russia and Ukraine, hoping to find some way to end that conflict. But here's the thing. Even as the diplomats are getting ready to sit down at the table, the situation on the ground is actually getting hotter, not cooler. These peace talks are happening against a backdrop of some very real, very immediate military action. In case in point, over in the Persian Gulf, the US military just shot down an Iranian drone. They said it got aggressively close to one of their aircraft carriers. It's a stark reminder of just how razor-thin the line is between negotiation and open conflict, especially with those US-Iran talks right around the corner. Meanwhile, over in Ukraine, we have this really tragic, almost contradictory situation. A temporary one-week ceasefire has been called because of the brutal winter weather. But this pause comes right after Russia launched a massive attack, hitting cities with hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles. It's a fragile break for sure. And these conflicts aren't just being fought with soldiers and missiles anymore. They're increasingly being fought with economic tools. Trade, tariffs, resources, these are now the primary weapons of foreign policy. Take this, for example, a huge new trade deal between the US and India. Just look at this. The US is slashing tariffs on Indian goods, dropping them from a massive 50% all the way down to 18%. That is a really, really big deal with major geopolitical consequences. But yeah, this is way more than just a simple trade agreement. There's a big you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours element here. The deal is, in exchange for these lower tariffs, India has to stop buying Russian oil. This is a massive hit to Moscow's wallet and really reshuffles the global energy map. And you can see how important this is on a personal level too. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called it wonderful to speak with President Trump. This really shows it's not just about economics, it's about building this personal, strategic partnership between the two leaders. And that's not the only big economic play the US is making. Take a look at this number, $12 billion. So what's that for? It's for something called Project Vault. Think of it as a strategic move in the 21st century economic chess game. The US is spending $12 billion to create a massive stockpile of critical minerals. Things like lithium that you need for literally everything from your phone to a fighter jet. This is all about reducing reliance on Chinese supply chains. Okay, so all these tensions we're seeing on the global stage, well, they're being reflected right back here at home in the United States, with some really deep divisions coming to the surface. So the good news is a partial government shutdown has been avoided. But the deal that was struck, this $1.2 trillion package, it's really more of a Band-Aid. It kicks the can down the road on a really bitter fight that's still brewing. And the real sticking point, the reason this is just a temporary fix, comes down to the Department of Homeland Security. They've only got funding for another 2 weeks because of this major standoff over the future of IC and immigration reform. And this whole debate has really come to a head in Minneapolis. If you look at this timeline, you can see how things escalated so quickly. After federal agents shot and killed 2 people, mass protests erupted. And now, in response, DHS has ordered that all ICE agents in the city have to wear body cameras, effective immediately. And while all of this political drama is unfolding, we can't forget the bigger picture. All of this is happening against a backdrop of some truly urgent humanitarian and environmental crises that are affecting people all over the planet. And this next number, well, it's a gut punch. 1,000. That's the number of people feared dead in just a single tragic incident. Just a truly heartbreaking story coming out of the Mediterranean. As many as 1,000 migrants are now feared dead or missing. Their boats were caught in a massive storm, Cyclone Harry, and they just didn't stand a chance. Aid groups are calling it a massacre. And at the same time, another natural disaster is unfolding in Greece.
The famous island of Santorini has declared a state of emergency. It's been hit by what they're calling a seismic swarm. That's nearly 13,000 tremors, forcing thousands of people to evacuate their homes. Now, looking ahead, a new report is sounding a major alarm about climate change, and it's using one of the world's biggest events to make its point. We're talking about the 2026 World Cup. The report warns that for 88% of the North American venues, the heat risk will be so extreme that it'll be practically unplayable. But even as we're dealing with all these crises right here and now, there's another story unfolding that could fundamentally change our future. For our last item, we're looking at a huge development in the world of technology. It's all centered around this concept called orbital AI. So what is that? The basic idea is to take computing power and scale it up beyond anything we can do here on Earth. We're talking about using huge satellite networks like Starlink and space-based solar power to create an artificial intelligence that is truly massive. And this is the driving force behind the merger of SpaceX and xAI, a deal valued at over $1 trillion. So, to recap, from tense diplomatic talks and economic power plays to deep divisions at home and urgent global crises, it's clear we're living in a time of rapid, fundamental change. That's the latest for now. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. We'll have another update for you in 24 hours.